Hey guys, welcome to Sam Cole Workshop. Jason here. Today we're going to do a fun video. It might help you as well too with some of the stuff, and I'm going to break it down why. But like I said, most of the stuff I give you and I do when I'm on this whiteboard, it's all fact-based. It's legit numbers. It's legit stuff we know. But let's give an opinion one today. So if I was buying a mid-size truck in 2024, what would I buy? Okay, what would I want to have? And I'll kind of look at this from two perspectives. One perspective is mine, which is somebody who lives in the dirt, in the swamps, in the mud. Constantly, it's what I do for my job. Like I said, this YouTube channel is a lot of fun, but I actually make my living through the content I create on my other channels, my bow hunting channels, and my Patreon for that, and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I make my living at. So I live in the swamps. That's where I'm at constantly. But if I were buying it, we'll do it two ways. One would be for what I need a truck to do. The other one would be for what I think the average person wants a truck to do. So, so what we got here, we have basically in the mid-size category, because like the Ridgeline, I kind of, it's sort of there, but being unibody, I put it more with like the Santa Cruz and the Maverick and kind of out there. So full body on frame ones, we got the Tacoma, the Ranger, the Frontier, the Gladiator, the Colorado. Soon to be that Ineos, whatever, I can't remember what they call that. The Ineos Grenadier has got a truck version. I can't remember the name of it, but that's not even in the equation in here. But so these are your basic ones right here. So let's break them down from my perspective. Again, my opinion as somebody who's fascinated with trucks. The new Tacoma, it's got potential. I like kind of what Toyota's done with it a little bit. I think it's a step backwards from the 2023 model. I don't think it'll have the quality. I don't think it'll have the reliability. I don't think it's anywhere near as capable off-road, in my opinion, based on the numbers and the true factual stuff. And the price is pretty high, ridiculous. So for me, the Tacoma is completely out. It is not one that I would even remotely consider. And as I've said before, I hope nobody even buys it because the prices are so high that could set a precedent. If people start buying these things for 50 grand for a basic model, a SR5, they start paying 50K for these things, which is what's happening right now, then Ranger, Ford, all these other ones are going to start jumping along that game too and start raising these prices up higher. So personally, I would never even own a Tacoma again, the new one, based on that alone, that I will never contribute to this ridiculousness of what they're charging on there, okay? So in that opinion, no. And some people are going to go, well, look at the prices of a Gladiator. Okay, a Gladiator start, pretty decent, coming in at like 40 grand, for the baser model ones. But you're right, it can be $60,000 for some of these. But there is a whole world of difference. This vehicle is much more comparable to like a 25 series or 2500 truck. Solid front axle, solid rear, solid everything. The way this thing is built, what its capabilities are, there's no comparing a Gladiator to a Tacoma. Okay, this is a purpose-built, incredible machine made with real steel, built the right way, built as robust as could possibly be. And yeah, they charge money for it, but also they always have tremendous rebates and incentives. So even though, like on this, even though my sticker price was something like $57,000, I paid 43 grand for it. Okay, so I mean, like I said, do the math on there. I think it's 43.8 or whatever I paid for it, and that's for a Rubicon model. So no, this one is not that high. You're never going to see these come down. Okay, but like I said, so I hope Tacoma, nobody buys them. So in my opinion, that truck is completely out of my element. And again, this whole video, my opinion based. The Ranger, the Ranger, I had a lot of potential or expectations for. I had high hopes for the 2024 Ranger. The XLT trim. Okay, the XLT trim, it's the only one that I would ever consider. I am not a person that likes to buy limiteds or King Ranches or Platinums or any of these upper lariats. I'm not buying any of that kind of stuff. I don't want any of that extra tech crap that's in there, and none of that stuff benefits me, and I hate leather seats. If you follow me, I absolutely hate leather seats. So I would want the XLT trim level. The XL3 trim level and the Lariat version of this, and for what I do off-road, the Ranger falls shorter than everything else on here. It's way worse than every other option on here as far as its off-road capabilities. So for me, that's completely out anyway, with the exception of a Raptor, which we could never get. It's going to be two years before anybody could even consider general public seeing a Raptor or being able to get one. So since the Raptor's out, it rules out the FX4 is nowhere near. We were thinking it was coming with 33s. We're hoping maybe they'd come out with a tremor package and give us some Torsen front lockers, which they didn't give us in the last version. You know, we had high expectations for a 2024 Ranger. It failed. Plus the fact that you cannot use a key, or you can in the XLT, you cannot get push button start and touch lock unlock handles. It's out for me. Okay, Ranger's out. Okay, and but the XLT is priced good. It's a good price on it, so I'm not knocking it. Like I said, just over $40K for that. That's a good deal. $50K again for the Lariat model. Okay, no, gone, out. Ranger for me, out completely. Not interested. Frontier packs so much of everything. Still, it's one of the only two that are naturally aspirated. Okay, it is fantastic. Has a rear locker in the Pro 4X. It's proven, it's reliable, it's capable, it's a great vehicle. That one is a very, very good option. Okay, it's a very good option. So we kind of put like an asterisk next to that one's like, that one's got, of the three we've seen so far, that's got the potential. All right? The Gladiator wins hands down for what I do. Okay? For what I do and where I live and the things I do, again, with my the crap I have to drive in all week long for my content and for my hunting and the things I do, this one is hands down the winner by far, by a long shot for me. This one wins. Now this one and both, if we go to a ZR2 Colorado, both are very, very capable, very similarly priced. Both of them are very amazing vehicles. However, the robustness, the solid front axles, the articulation, the fact that I can get 35s on it, fit 35 up in a spare compartment, I don't have to mess with that. The amazing low crawl ratio, the fun factor of the removable panels, everything about the Gladiator fits my lifestyle, so that one hands down, for me, wins all day long. I mean, it wins all day long. And now that I own it, and have owned it for 15,000 miles, my only regret is that I didn't buy one 5 years ago when they first came out. That's my only regret. Because honestly, if the mid-size lineup we have today continues for, like, say, the next 7 or 8 years, I'll be buying Gladiator after Gladiator after Gladiator. Because it's just nothing beats it for what I need, hands down. But now if we take my equation out of that and look at it from a normal standpoint of everybody out there, there's a lot of people that might not like the Gladiator. The solid front end drives a little looser. Not much more difference, but it's got a little more looser feel. You might get a little more noise in it. I love everything about it. It's fun. It's like people that drive a manual. Okay, not everybody wants to drive a manual, but they're just so much fun. The Gladiator is like buying a sports car in a manual. It just adds that fun factor to it. So this one may be something people are interested in, but I don't think it's probably the best for everybody because, like I said, not everybody wants a manual. Not everybody wants the stuff that the things that I find to benefit in a Gladiator may not be what most people are looking for. So we kind of, in my opinion, yes, but in the opinion that I'm recommending that I think if I make myself think of the average guy, maybe not. What about the Colorado? Colorado's got a lot going for it. For me, in my opinion, Colorado gets an asterisk too. Okay, big asterisk right there too. So these two here are the ones that I would say are the key ones for the average person for what they're going to want to do. It offers a lot. When we rule these out, given the fact that when we compare the two of them, that the price I can get a lot of capability and the lift and the sexy looks and all the stuff. In my opinion, this one wins. The Colorado wins by just looks, appearance, and some of the features you get for the dollar. The Pro 4X is right there too. This is a really tough choice between these ones because here you're getting naturally aspirated motor, you're getting proven, you're getting capable, you're getting everything that you want here, which makes that one a very tough one. This one, I think, in my opinion, is a sharper looking truck. This one in a Trail Boss, okay? A Trail Boss is phenomenal vehicle for like under 40 grand. And I know people are like, it's 39,000. It might be 39,000, but again, if you know how to buy a car, I can buy this thing for $36,000. Okay, but a Trail Boss for 36,000 bucks And then I put a winch on this thing in a bumper for another $1,500 for $37,500. I got a vehicle with a G80 rear locker, 2-inch lift from the factory. I can put 34-inch tires on the stock rims that are on it, and a winch and a bumper on the front. And I got a super capable rig for literally for like I said, all said and done for like 38 grand. Okay, maybe 39. Okay, but that's pretty dang incredible, and that would be based on what winch and bumper I put on it. But there's a lot of power in that Trail Boss for what I need. The other one would be the ZR2, okay, and we go with the ZR2. I'm looking at, like, you know, again, a little trickier to get the discounts on that, but possible. The one I had on order was like 47K, but we'll just call it 50K. You're at 50K here, but you're getting lockers, you're getting a lot of stuff, you're jumping it up to the capabilities, getting close to what a Gladiator can do here. Not the same, but getting close. But you become the most capable truck of all of them other than the Gladiator when you go to that ZR2. So that makes that a hard, you know, this is a hard choice for me between the two of them. You know, basically 12 grand difference, and yeah, this one might be a little more capable, but on the same, and it can still only fit 34-inch tires on it unless you do changes to the fender flares and all that kind of stuff, and you have nowhere to fit a 35-inch spare under it. You can fit a 34, but not a 35, so there's no benefit. You know, like I said, if I put this Trail Boss on 34s, I'm trying to sideways, but I put that on 34s with a winch, okay, and we put that on there. And in this one, we took the ZR2 and say that we put 34s on it, which I told you I would do. Okay, so 34s, no need for a winch, but we are still talking 12K more for this setup. Yet this will do 75-80% of what this will do, and on top of that, for the 20% of stuff that I can't do, the winch will do it for me, and I save $12,000. That's a pretty. This is a very, very tough call even for what I do. I mean, like I said, none of us are made of money. This stuff matters. That's a tough call between a Trail Boss with a 2-inch lift, which comes from the factory, and a 34-inch tire and a winch is all I'd put on it. Versus ZR2 comes with a 3-inch lift from the factory, still 34s, and I wouldn't be able to afford to put a winch on it because I'd be paying 12 grand more for it. That's a very, very tough call. But in my opinion, if we put all that together and put it into perspective, like I said, for me, you know, because I can get this for cheaper prices, that Gladiator wins. I'm not paying the price of the ZR2, and I get even more vehicle, and I love all the things of the Gladiator. But for the average person, I still believe that a Colorado Trail Boss, in my opinion, is probably, for 99% of the people, the best looking, most functional, most capable pickup truck, midsize pickup truck that you can get when you also add in the value. I think this one here is the winner for the average person. This one here is the winner for what I need it to do. But like I said, when you look at the price comparisons, that Trail Boss, I could almost make that work and do what I need. And if I were buying a new truck today, these would be my considerations. Okay, it would be between these two, and it would come down to, what can I buy a Gladiator for versus what can I buy a ZR2 for versus what can I buy a Trail Boss for and put a winch and a bumper on it. And I would have to weigh all three of those particular vehicles, pros and cons. But those are what it would be vehicle-wise for me personally. What we'd end up coming down to is the Rubicon Gladiator, and it would be the ZR2, and it would be the Trail Boss, and it would be it would be a line of pros and cons and see where they fall, and included in that would be cost, because like I said, they're all pretty phenomenal. Now again, with what I'm doing, that Gladiator kind of wins because it has the robustness and it can handle spending 200 miles a week in mud, muck, swamps, bouncing, bumps, beating up, things like that. So there's a big factor in there that we have to take into consideration. There's also the factor that we have to take into consideration with what I do as far as replacement parts, things like that. For example, Shocks, you know, I mean, I go through a set of shocks every year. Okay, again, what I do, most people don't understand, and yes, I don't go to an off-road park and beat my rig up and try to drive over this obstacle and see if I can climb there while my buddies film it. I don't do that. I live in the swamps, 200 miles a week. Rough, beat up, rutted out roads, swamp roads, flooded roads, water ripping over because creeks are overflowing. Miserable conditions out there. I go through a set of shocks every single year regardless. It get me about 30,000 miles, my shocks are gone. If I have to replace the shocks on that Rubicon because they're a simple monotube shock, let's say that I'm going to do it and do it right. Let's say it's going to cost me $500 to replace those. If I had a ZR2 and I want to keep the value of that vehicle, I need to replace it with the Multimatic suspension that's on there. So now I'm more in the neighborhood of $2K every year. Okay, $2,000 a year versus $500 a year for those shocks. These are things that have to be taken into consideration for what I use a vehicle for. For me, it is a tool. But so things like that, where if I had a Trail Boss, again, shocks for me there, $500 a year. Okay, versus this. So there are things that you got to take into consideration. But for me, Gladiator wins. For most people, I think the Colorado does. Just food for thought. Things, you know, just giving it to you from my perspective. Kind of a fun little video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.